All right, so this is our 11th meeting, so next one will be our very last one. So super exciting. Okay, so everyone here knows each other already, but let's do weekly highs and lows.
You start.
Wait, I don't want to start.
I can't think of anything.
I know I posed the question, but I have to think of my answer first. Anyone who has something, you can just like jump in.
I can start. My weekly high was today. I got to volunteer today, and I feel like I'm doing something with my life that matters because I never feel like that.
What did you volunteer for?
There's an organization based in Knoxville called Remote Area Medical, and it's like Doctors Without Borders but for America.
Ooh.
And it's really cool, and I really love the work that they do. And like I volunteer at clinics throughout the year, but now that I have time, I can like volunteer at headquarters and actually do something nice.
Yay, awesome.
And then sorry,
that's awesome.
And then my low is probably
here too.
on fire exam.
Wait, Jesse, can you repeat that, please? I didn't hear the low.
That's okay.
Because of the chime.
It was just like my bio and neuro exam back to back.
Relatable.
That sounds awful.
It's over. I'm very happy.
But I'm glad you're. Yeah, I was gonna say that. I'm glad you got through.
Thank you.
Hi, Emma. Wait, we can't hear you.
I'm joining from my phone,
Okay.
which I have not done before. I'm gonna have to leave soonish though, because I have to eat dinner.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. Thank you for coming. We're doing weekly highs and lows. If you can think of anything.
Also, I got your pin the pin from the club.
Awesome.
I just didn't get it till I got home, and then I forgot to tell you.
Okay, thank you. I'm glad we paid so much for shipping.
Highs and lows. Highs is that my high was that I made mince pies.
Ooh.
Low. A lot of my friends live in California or not near me. So it's sad.
Yes, that is sad. Do you have any?
No.
Anyone else?
I can't think of anything that happened over the week. I don't know. I've just been at home most of the time. But I guess that could count as a high, right? Just being home and not having to do college for a little bit. And then my low is not being on campus, I guess.
Okay, fair.
Yeah.
To steal your answer, I guess my high is I don't have to cook anymore.
Yeah.
My mom feeds me.
I have to make dinner next week for my family. I'm scared.
You can do it.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
And my low is I have 2 exams tomorrow.
Ew.
It is very ew.
Yeah, I think I have a very mundane highs and lows, because my high is probably like I played Roblox for the first time in like 2 years. And then
Congrats.
I have a test on Monday. So that isn't that great.
I guess my low would be studying for exams, but then my high is getting my exams done with.
Oh. Oh yeah, you're done after tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
Lucky duck.
I've been done for a week.
Okay, Emma.
What?
Me too.
I should be getting my grades in a few days. Scared.
Well, hopefully that can be a weekly high.
I already got my grades, and at some point I had a 10 out of 100, Well, the assignment was graded a 10 out of 100 with a comment that said, like, excellent work, Angie. So it's really good. It scared me a little bit, but it got fixed.
I just want, like, bare minimum, like, a C in Orgo. I don't know what I'll get. I have no idea what it will be. It could be a B. It could be an A. No clue.
Yeah, I hate when they don't like tell you how you're doing.
Yeah, and he doesn't use math to determine the score, so it's not like I can, like, try to curve it myself. Yeah, I think he just, like, feels it out. Because he's fucking insane.
Well, that
Sorry,
could
swore.
happen at Michigan.
Well, he emailed us all saying that there was plagiarism in these lab reports that we did.
Oh,
That was extra credit. So if you thought you plagiarized, you should unsubmit it and he won't, like, get mad at you. And then I was like, what if he, like, thinks I plagiarized? So then I emailed and I was like, was my paper one of the ones you were concerned about? Or, like, because he just emailed it to everybody.
yeah.
I did not plagiarize. It's all good.
You're fine then. Don't worry about it. All right. I guess we can get started now. If not, wait, did everyone go? Jane is the only one who didn't go.
I can't think anything. Keep going.
Week was just totally neutral.
No, her weekly high was watching.
Stop!
And Teddy already
No,
knows.
Teddy, don't. Okay, keep going.
All right. So, a big question we're going to talk about today is what does it mean to live well? So, before we start our discussion, what do you guys think?
To be happy.
Okay.
Mm,
So, as long as you're happy, that means you lived a good life.
I agree. I think as long as you're just, like, content, then yes, you did live a good life.
Okay.
I don't know if I believe this, but I'm pretty sure Thoreau's thing was to be useful too. So that's another perspective.
Yes, that is a good answer.
I feel like if you're happy and say you're happy at the expense of others, some
Mhm.
might say that's not a good life. But if you're not aware of it, then, like, does it matter?
What if you are aware of it?
Well, then it would
Wait, then it would what?
matter. Like, well, actually, I don't know. I guess I feel like it's a subjective, not subjective. Obviously, it's subjective. It's a question that there's, like, two like, if the goal is just to be happy, like, then, or, like, can you be happy if, like, it's at the expense of others? Are you really going to be happy?
I would argue maybe some people.
Yeah.
But then would you consider that living a good life or no?
Well, for them it might be good, but I would not consider that a good life.
Mm-hmm. Any other ideas?
To be the best version of yourself that you can possibly be.
Okay.
Live up to, like, going off of that, live up to your full potential and, like, experience the full breadth of, or just, like, human experience. So emotions, creation, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
Also, I was wrong. It was Emerson, not Thoreau.
Ah, okay. Thank you for letting us know. Okay, so on, like, a philosophical level, there are, like, 3, like, categories, I guess. So when we were talking about happiness, maybe that might go under, like, hedonism. So there's hedonism, desire fulfillment theories, and objectivist theories, or at least these are the ones I learned about in class that one time. Okay, so for hedonistic theories, we have narrow or quantitative hedonism, and then we have preference hedonism. So they're different in the sense that like narrow and quantitative hedonism is very much like it's more like calculated, so the most pleasure and the least amount of pain make the best life. So if you just like add up all the happiness and subtract all the sadness or whatever you get in the end, that's like how good your life was. So do people agree with this, or do you think it's like missing something?
I think I don't really understand preference hedonism.
So
How does it differ from quantitative?
okay, yeah, good question. So like with narrow and quantitative hedonism, it's more like um it's exactly dependent on like pleasure and pain, whereas like preference hedonism is more like you might prefer something that's more painful in the end because of like some reason. So like if I'm trying to come up with a scenario like in terms of like sacrifice or whatever, like even if that causes you pain, you might like want something to happen, or like you want the best for someone you love, even if that causes you pain. So that's where it might differ.
Mhm.
So out
Sorry,
of
what was the
these two,
question?
so out of these two, which one do you think makes more sense, or like what do you think is better?
Wait, so the are they entirely separate things?
So they're like both types of hedonism, which is just like the idea that um pleasure, or like kind of like the idea that happiness is equal to good life. So what you were talking about before, like
Oh, I see. Okay. I feel like you can live a good life without direct like happiness to you always.
mhm.
I feel like some would say that is the way to live the best life, that you should give your like amenities until you have only like enough for survival to help others who have nothing. It's kind of a religious take
Mhm.
more often. um like like if you have a house, you should like sell all of your belongings to help all the homeless people in the world, as many as you can,
Yeah.
get housing. But then eventually you would become homeless or very, very poor.
So I think a lot of people would agree, or like I would assume that a lot of people would think preference hedonism makes more sense than narrow hedonism, just because like there are cases in which pleasure and pain are just too narrow definitions to like actually mean anything in some cases. Like in more complicated situations, it doesn't really make sense to say, oh, I'm just going to go with whatever will feel better in the short term. Okay, and then we also have desire fulfillment theories, which sound pretty similar to preference hedonism, but they're like a little different. So with unrestricted theory, like it says on the oh, Jefferson's here. The fulfillment of all of one's desires makes the best life. So for example, if you see someone somewhere and they like have an awful disease and then you find out later, or like actually you don't find out, um they like end up being cured at one point, that would make your life better. So what do you guys think about that? Like, do you think that like when you see someone who has a disease, you like might feel bad for them, right? And hope that one day they get cured. And then let's say they do get cured eventually, does that make your life better in any way?
I think maybe in the moment, but I don't think it's like sustainable. It's just like, since it's unrelated to you. Well,
Mhm.
I don't know. I don't know.
What if you like don't find out that they were cured, but they do eventually get cured?
Then it
Well-
doesn't make your life better.
Yeah, I think you would have to know
Okay,
for
yeah.
it, but also like maybe you'd have to know the person, or like unless it was like the like disease was cured in general, that might make you happy. I don't know if it would make your life better. It might help you recognize good things in the world, and then you would be more happy, and then maybe your life would be better, but not directly.
Yeah, I think I would agree with that. Which is why we also have success theory, which is like the desires and preferences are restricted to those about your own life. So with the example I was just talking about, like just because you felt bad for someone at some point, them getting cured doesn't really have anything to do with your desires or preferences, so that doesn't necessarily make your life better. But another thing about success theory is that it claims that your life as a whole can be better or worse depending on like what happens after you die. So, um to come up with a scenario for this, like let's say after you die, or like with famous artists or whatever, they don't get appreciated, or a lot of the time they don't get appreciated during their lifetime, and then like they are super appreciated after they die. Would that mean their life was better because of that, or do you think no? You're shaking your head, please explain.
Yeah, like I don't know. The first example I think of is Van Gogh, and like I don't think any amount of appreciation can make his life feel like better than it actually was. Like I don't think it matters to you after you die. Like
Yeah.
yeah.
I was also thinking of Van Gogh and like came to the same conclusion.
Yeah, I think I agree with that. But like there's also a little bit of merit to this, because if you think about it, like you would still agree that Van Gogh's life is valuable, right? And clearly, sorry, Jane's coughing. You can cough. I just don't want to talk. Okay, she's done. So, like, I don't think anyone would disagree that his life definitely was valuable, and he did like live a good life in the sense that he created art that was going to be appreciated sometime in the future.
What if your perspective on your own life is the only one that matters?
Yeah, I definitely agree. I remember like when I learned about this, I was like, that's dumb.
Yeah, I'd say that as well, because like, well, earlier, when Jessica mentioned the like usefulness that Emerson said, like that is like kind of capitalism and other people's viewpoint once again.
Yeah.
Is also, it's very ableist, because which is like a buzzword, but there's people that can't do jobs and things that maybe add like usefulness to the world. Like people don't need to have a use.
Right.
Like, but they can still add happiness to the world.
Yeah.
Isn't adding happiness to the world part of their use?
I suppose, yes, but it's
I think when Emerson said it, I misquoted. I think he said to be like helpful, and I think there was absolutely a capitalist undertone, but I think the definition of helpful can vary on the person.
Yeah, that's true.
But that's a really good point. I didn't think about that.
You can also argue though, like, okay, I guess I want to just ask, like, do you think that someone's, like, the value of someone's life is completely independent from, like, their contribution to society? Yes?
Like,
No, I don't think completely independent. Like,
go ahead.
you have whatever, some guy who like comes up with whoever invented vaccines, whatever his name was, like his life definitely has more value because he invented vaccines and he saved like millions of other people.
I was gonna like point out that it feels like we're now talking about like the value of an individual's life to outside, like to third parties, whereas like I still would not consider that like a reflection on, like if I were to define my having my best life or something, it wouldn't be about my contributions to society after I die, because that's not really a life kind of thing.
Yeah. But what about your contributions to society, like, while you were alive? Do you think, like, I don't know, it just feels like I completely understand Emma's point with, like, the ableism, and I definitely think that's, like, a big thing we should focus on when we talk about this, but also it feels a little weird to me to say that it's completely independent of what you contribute to other
I
people's.
think it's completely independent. I think if you want, I think it depends whether you want, like if I want to like do this thing that helps society and then I don't and I die, then like that maybe is I didn't fulfill my best life.
Mhm.
But if you like set out to do that
Okay, yeah.
and then you did, that is your best life. Or maybe you set out to do something else and then you succeed in doing another thing that's still like equal weight to you.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like there's people out there that don't care about their impact on the world.
Yeah.
Or they at least pretend not to. I don't know. During their life.
Is there a baseline for like worth of life? Are we comparing like, so we were talking about Jenner, right? Edward Jenner, I think is his name, the guy who invented vaccines. So you all said that his life had more value because of how important vaccines are to us. Are we saying more value than another person's life, or more value than his life would have had this pandemic not come up?
I would say maybe both, but I think I agree with Emma's point when she says like that makes his life more valuable because he like wanted, or we're assuming that he wanted to make this contribution to society rather than like, oh, it's good because other people thought he was cool, you know?
I understand what you guys are saying with it doesn't feel right to say it's completely independent, but I also get kind of an icky feeling with placing some people's life like over others. So I think we can definitely make a comparison between them and then what they could have been had something not happened, but like comparing it to another person.
Well, I think we need to distinguish between value and like living a good life, because we've had other discussions about like value and like, oh, what if you could kill Hitler type of thing. But that's not like, you could have a horrible life in your opinion and still your life could be very valued. I don't think Van Gogh had a great life. He wanted to die. So Was that not Van Gogh? Am I confusing? No, that was Van Gogh. Anyway, but his life does have value because he created that art that it's enjoyed later.
Right.
Yeah, I would agree with Emma. I think you can't really draw comparisons between like how good like certain people's lives are, but I think you can draw comparisons between how valuable they are.
Could we compare them based on like what everyone's own opinion is on how good their life is, though? Maybe.
They found there. Wait, sorry, could you rephrase the question?
So like we're saying certain people's lives, or you said that we can compare people on like how valuable their lives are.
Yeah.
Valuable to who? To themselves.
Thinking mostly to like larger society.
Oh, okay. I think I was gonna say that we should just judge it based on like everyone's own opinion of their own lives. But then I don't know. It
Then I think
over.
I think like objectively there are some lives that are more valuable than others. Like let's say you have like two farmers. One like plows a really big field and then is able to feed like 10 people with like all the food he plows. And then another farmer only plows like one field and is only able to feed himself.
Yeah.
Are you saying that both farmers are equally valuable to society?
Well, not to society. What I think what Emma was saying before and what I like agreed with was that like it doesn't really matter how valuable their lives are to society. It's like more about their value to themselves because they were able to achieve like a desire they had. So
What's
like if
more
that
about the value to themselves?
what do you mean?
You said it's more about the value to themselves. What's more like what's the it?
So like their lives value depends on like their desires being fulfilled. So like if that farmer that was only able to feed himself, if that was his desire, then like it their lives would be equally valuable. But then
I think like the word valuable is confusing. I think they would have equally good lives.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I would agree with Emma.
Okay, I'm trying to say that.
Oh, okay, but I think there is a difference between like the value of someone's life and like how good their life is.
Okay, so when I say valuable to themselves, I'm saying like how good they perceive their own lives.
Okay.
I don't mean valuable to society. That's like something else. I think. So do we all agree that it doesn't matter what happens after you die then, or
I want to say no, but at the same time, I know that like so many people have a desire to leave a legacy of some sort or change the world for the future generations. I don't really like understand that, but I guess it does matter. Maybe like some people define their own like value to themselves based on how much they can benefit future generations after
Right.
their deaths.
So
I
then
think it does matter, but if you don't ever know about it, then it doesn't matter. Like if I invented a vaccine right now and then it like saved a bunch of people, and then like as I was older they were like using it for all these new things that I didn't come up with, and then I was the one that created the technology to do this, then I would know, and then I would know that it would make a difference in future generations. But if I died and then that happened, because unless we are like conscious in the afterlife, I wouldn't know.
Right. So then, do you think so? Like, even if you have a preference that eventually gets fulfilled after you die, you don't think that, like, maybe we can say, like, that doesn't really count as your preference being fulfilled, really. But, like, with what Tia was saying, like, what were you saying?
I'm saying like it's not you might not get to experience it and you might like you'll never get to know whether your life is good in by your standards or not, but you can define what you would like. You can say, "Oh, okay, my life will have been like complete and good if this particular invention saves my great great grandchild in
Right.
like this many years." You
Yeah.
won't know, but like it's I, I don't know how to explain it, but I think it still like qualifies as a good life.
So, like, if you have a preference that, like, within the preference, you're stating that, oh, I don't care if this happens, like, during my lifetime or after it, like, can you really say that that's a desire to be fulfilled and then therefore make your life better after you die? Because if you can't know that the desire is being fulfilled, then like I kind of feel like that's not your desire being fulfilled.
Yeah, I think once you die, like say there was a calculator calculating all the good things in your life, like once you die, that calculator stops calculating.
Mm-hmm. Because like if we are to accept that it only matters what your opinion is of your life, then like obviously if you don't know, then it doesn't really matter. But that's not to say that having those preferences is like not good though, because it's cool of people to want to better things even after they die, but I don't know. Okay, so then this last theory is objective list theories. So some people think that there are like universally good and bad things for us, whether we want them or not. So, like, ideas like equality, peace, dignity, justice, and freedom are good for everyone, even if you claim for some weird reason that you don't want those things. So, what do we think about this?
That like wait, so it's saying that increasing those things will always make your life better?
Yeah. So like whether so it's independent of your preference. So it's pretty much saying like if you experience pain, inequality and injustice or like we can set the objective list to like include any group of things. So like if you disagree with the words I put on the screen, we can come up with other words, but like the idea is we can come or there are certain things that like make a life good or bad whether or not you have the preference to have those things or not. So if you so like we can say maybe equality is one of them and maybe you don't want equality for some reason, but even if you don't want it, like having equality in your life will make your life better.
Yeah, unless you're really rich and then equality makes you lose your money so that other people can have money, like Jeff Bezos situation.
Yeah.
If we like took his money, then maybe his perceived quality of life, like his happiness would be lower because we took his money away.
Okay. So maybe for that one no, but like dignity for example or like justice or freedom, these all seem like ideas that would work, maybe. I remember the first time I heard about objectiveless theories, I was like, no, that's stupid because you should just base it on everyone's preference. But I also think there's like a little bit of merit to this just because, like, it's like better for health, just like in general, you know what I mean?
This doesn't really seem better than like preferential hedonism or whatever. Like it just seems like a more umbrella and like less nuanced version of that.
Okay, so you still think that people's preferences are more important?
Yeah.
Bye, Emma. Also, someone entered the waiting room and then I can't find the thing anymore, so I don't know if I accidentally rejected them. Oh, I totally did. Oh my god, I feel bad.
Yeah.
Sorry, what were you saying, Teddy?
It just seems like a less nuanced version of preferential hedonism because you can't like tailor it to every person.
Okay, so you don't think that there are any like baseline qualities of a life that would make it better or worse?
Not like universal.
Okay.
It seems like why put that qualifier on when you could like go by each person individually.
Okay, that's fair. Does anyone agree with this type of theory? Or like have any reasons why it might be better than desire fulfillment?
As cheesy as this sounds, like I think love might be one of those like universally good things
Yeah.
because it can just take like so many different forms, and I can't imagine it like detracting from the quality of someone's life.
Yeah.
There's only benefit to be gained. I don't know.
I also think this is like kind of difficult to do because like with ideas like love and dignity and justice, just to name a few, like if you it depends on how you define those words, and then because like at one point there might be like overlap between the words that like somehow suggests that like you wouldn't want that might suggest that like you would prefer, like we can't say an objective list of words because you might not be able to fulfill all of them and then make them work. Like, how am I trying to say this? Like, even if you say like, because love is such a broad word, maybe love encroaches on dignity in some situations. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Like, it definitely like depends on how you define the words, which is also super hard because then maybe like justice and freedom and those ideas might um have something more to do with like, I don't know. Does anyone get what I'm saying? Okay, wait, there's something in the chat. Okay, so Zoo's saying like some things are likely to be universally good, such as helping others. So you missed this before, but we were talking about desire fulfillment theories with like so we were pretty much saying that what makes a life good is based on what desires and preferences are becoming fulfilled. So I don't want to be right, but I feel like there are some people that like don't desire to help people. So do you think in that case um you would still think that that is a universally good thing or no? Also, can anyone think of like examples of cases where love would not be a universally good thing?
I think like if you love somebody and then like they don't love you back or like they leave you or something and then you're all sad, that's a bad thing.
But is it the love itself in that situation or like the lack of reciprocity? I think that love isn't really the thing to blame.
Like if your love indirectly caused you like pain, isn't that still like a bad thing coming from the love?
I think, okay, yeah, I see where you're coming from. So it's like kind of the fact that love exists kind of like opens you up to be getting hurt, and like I think that's true. Like I think any of these things open up a door that can also lead to you eventually feeling pain. So like if you trust someone, for example, and eventually, or like not eventually, where if something happens like by loving anything, you are like being vulnerable, right? And that could eventually cause pain. But then is that pain bad though? I don't know.
Why wouldn't it be bad?
I'm just trying to think like I can't tell if it would actually suffice. Like is that actually a reason to think that love is not universally good though?
I would think so.
I don't know. I kind of like for love in this example is kind of like how you listed freedom. Like you could grant freedom to someone and that they might just like end up, I don't know, hurting themselves or like doing something bad with that freedom.
Yeah.
But it's like that does not mean that freedom itself is like a bad thing. I think that still makes it a universal good. Kind of like love in this situation.
Yeah. This also reminds me of like the three lines from like 1984, like the war is peace and all that. Because I think all of this kind of depends on definitions, like I said before. So it's kind of like, I don't know, it's just kind of a weird theory to exist. Okay, so the reason why we talked about all that is like we need to consider like what makes a good life, right? And I guess I wanted to frame this the experiments machine question like within all of that, but like don't think about what we agreed on for what makes a life good and just like answer how you would have before we had this discussion. So you can all read this, but suppose there was an experience machine that would give you any experience you desire, so you could basically simulate any life you wanted ever, and then once you were in the simulation you don't even know that it's simulated, so then like you actually think that's all happening and then you die while you're in the simulation. So would you guys plug in or no? And I think the cool question that I forget his name asked was like what else can matter to us other than how our lives feel from the inside. And I think he said that he wouldn't plug in, but what do you guys think?
I'd definitely plug in. Like, there's nothing right now to prove that I'm not already plugged into a machine like this one. there's nothing that makes this reality more like feel more objective to me than another one. So I might as well make it something that's like enjoyable. I'd much rather have a life I actually enjoy than
Tia.
no, I'm not saying that I don't like actually enjoy this one, but I'm saying like, yeah.
Yeah, like you can make this life anything you want. So I guess a lot of people's first reaction to this is, but it's not like really happening, and there's some value in the fact that it's like really happening. Any thoughts?
Like, I don't know. What do you gain from knowing what's really like? I always thought about this whenever I was watching The Matrix or something. Like,
Yeah.
you don't really gain anything from seeing what's really behind this like illusion that you're living in. You just gain this like sort of clarity or like a sense of superiority because you know better than what everyone else knows, but ultimately you're just like as miserable as everyone else. I don't
So, like, if you believe that there is like true knowledge, then being out of the simulation would mean you have that true knowledge, and some people think like that knowledge is what is worth seeking in life. Like that might be like a core value or whatever. So like um in that sense, being out of the simulation is like better in the sense that you know the truth, and the truth is valuable in and of itself.
It also seems like you might get more control over your life if you're out of the simulation. But like now that I'm thinking about it, if it gives you any experience you desire, like
And you can like set the level to be whatever.
right, there's still free will in that, right? Or is that more determined?
This is like kind of just getting into the logistics of how the simulation would work, but I think what the proposed idea is, it's like connected to your brain, so it's gonna like, actually I don't know, because let's say you set your preferences before you go into the simulation, you might like change, right? As a person, and like maybe you have like different preferences while you're in the simulation. In that case it would go very poorly, but
It like taps into your subconscious and just always give you what you
yeah.
think you want.
So like if that's the way the machine would work, yes. But does that like change your answer though?
I don't know because part of me is still thinking like if you were outside in the real world, then you get to take your chances with whatever happens to you in real life. And you have less of those choices when you're inside the tank matrix thing.
Wait, can you clarify? Like, why do you think you'll have less of a chance to do anything while you're in the simulation?
I'm not entirely sure. I don't know. I don't think I completely understand, to be honest.
Yeah, it's kind of, it's weird. So like just imagine, like, let's just say that we're already in a simulation right now. Like obviously I would not put myself in a simulation where I would have 2 exams tomorrow. But like I don't see why, like I think we're supposed to imagine that the simulation is just like our lives right now, and we'll feel like the same level of control. So like I don't think that would be an issue.
Yeah, I think you're right. And like Tia, I've thought about this before. Like Neo wasn't missing much. I don't really think he gained too much from, choosing the pill. So
Yeah. It's also like, I don't know, the first time I watched The Matrix, it was kind of like, oh wow, it's so cool that he's like going after the choice that is like possibly more painful, but like in the end he's like, wow, he like knows the truth. That's so cool. But like I don't think I see any value in that either. Like I don't know, maybe this is cynical, but like if you're in the simulation, you get everything you want. So like for example, like I maybe want to be a surgeon. Like okay, I become a surgeon in the simulation and I'm like the best surgeon freaking ever. And then that'll be awesome. Who cares if I'm not actually saving people's lives? But like should I care? I think I do care to a certain. I do care though. I don't know. It's very confusing.
Like you wouldn't know any difference. Like
Yeah, so if you don't know, then does it matter? Like if I'm not actually saving anyone's life, then like why do people do things really?
like I don't know. I feel like from a hedonistic, maybe I'm too hedonistic about this, but like if you have a chance to be in a situation that makes you happy, just choose it. I feel like I don't know. Like the whole red pill type of thing. I don't know why, but I always associate it, like I know why I always associate it with like incels and people like that. It's like you think you have some kind of like objective view of the world, but it's just making you more miserable. So why don't you just like roll along and just like conform and be happy and everything's gonna go okay? I don't know. Can you unplug from the experience machine after you plug in? Nope. Okay.
I don't know if they even like went into whether or not you can unplug. I'm assuming no, because like you don't even know you're in it in the first place, so like why would you ever have the knowledge to be able to come out?
But like I'm thinking maybe just a weird like inception type of thing. It would be an interesting question to ask. You choose to be in an experience machine and you're in the simulated universe. In the simulated universe, near the end of your life in the simulated universe, you get to say, oh, I'm going to try this experience machine that actually transports you into your original reality.
Okay.
Yeah. Does anything actually change? Like both
Wait,
of them are experience machines. And you're not like there's no way to know which reality is more objective or
yeah.
more real than the other one.
It's like okay. I'm gonna hold on to my belief that like there is like a like true truth somewhere, even if no one knows what it is. So like I think the only question here is like, do you think it actually matters what your effect is on other people, or like, or does it like? Because before we were just talking about everyone's own preferences, right? So I think the purpose of the experience machine is to basically debunk hedonism and say, okay, that's dumb because if you're a hedonist, then you would plug into the machine. Like that's his whole point. But I don't know. Any other thoughts? Oh wait, something in the chat. Okay, Zoo would plug in. It's okay.
I think maybe the fact that you get to like decide what happens in this simulated universe kind of maybe takes away from like a true life, because I think like if this experience machine would just like remove any suffering in your ideal life, then I think the real world would be better.
Okay, wait. So this is important because do you think that if you were to simulate a perfect life, you would get rid of all your suffering?
I think I like my human nature would compel me to get rid of all my suffering, which would just end up like not being.
But okay, so maybe we should switch gears a little bit and talk about like what you would want to program into the machine. Like, I don't think the perfect life is one without any suffering, though. Right? Because if you like never suffer, then like eventually you're just gonna not feel any happiness.
I'll raise you
Yeah,
another
I was
question.
just-
Oh yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
no, I was just gonna agree with Lucia. You can go.
Oh yeah. Like we define life as one, like we think that a perfect life would have some degree of suffering so that we could feel happiness. But
Mhm.
like I don't know, like I think yes, there are some like ups and downs in my life, but would I define that as suffering? Like I feel like suffering is too extreme a word. I don't think I have suffered.
Even like little inconveniences.
Little inconveniences, yes. I think that's part of a perfect life, maybe. But I don't think suffering to the full extent.
Yeah, I think when we say suffering, we like mean just anything that like makes you not completely happy, you know?
Yeah.
So I don't know. What else would you want to program into the machine?
I feel like this isn't like a good time to ask me because I feel like if I were to, I think my life is like really good right now. So I'd just program it to be the exact same as it is. But,
Exactly.
like, yeah, pretty much. But
Okay.
that answer might change on a different day or something. What would you choose?
See, I think there's a flaw in like the whole setup because like you were just saying, it depends when you would have asked me. So like if you put me in the experience machine with myself at like age 13, I would be dating like a singer in 5 seconds of summer or some shit, you know? Like I don't really think that like I don't know how much my preferences will change as like I get older, but like I I'm not sure that I feel like everybody's a little more dynamic than this is all saying cuz I don't know. Cuz sometimes the things you want aren't really like the things you want. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel like the machine would have to take that into account.
Yeah, I would hope so. So, like, with that second question on the slide, do you think that anything else matters to us other than what happens, like, other than what our lives feel like to us?
How our lives feel from the inside, that includes our perceived effect on other people, right?
Mhm.
Okay.
So, like, if you say no to this, then it would be perfectly fine for me to, like, want to save lives, but only in the experience machine.
Like part of me wants to say, yeah, no, like it doesn't really matter because saving you might if there were no experience machine, you're saving lives, but you might just be in a simulation or in an experience machine with no without having an idea. But at the same time, like I don't know, this question makes me think of dreams and how like when you're in a dream, you think that everything happening is like completely real. It's like actually happening to you. But I still like and no matter how nice my dreams are, I still am happy to wake up and just experience what I consider my real life. I don't know.
So then, but then you said you would plug into the machine, right?
That's what like that's my first impulse, but I keep reconsidering it. I
Oh.
probably wouldn't actually. I don't know.
Really? I think that I would, assuming that the machine actually is good at calculating what people want.
I just have like an obsession with like being right about things, or like I would like to think that nope, I am totally happy with like the status quo. I don't need to change anything, and I can be completely happy with myself. And just be like just because of that stubborn belief, I
Right,
don't think I would
like
choose to be in an experience machine.
program the experience machine to like have you be right all the time. So
I'm not talking about like I want to be right about this life, about like I want to be doing everything right in my current life right now.
right,
So
there are certain things you can't control. So like, I don't know. I I have always said that I would plug in, and I still think I would plug in.
I think going off of what Tia said, I'm too stubbornly obsessed with truth. If I knew I had the choice, I don't know if I would plug in. Like, obviously, it makes more sense to plug in. I would be happier, but I'd be like,
Like if it was an actual option.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think
But,
yeah, just like part of this I don't know, there's just some like kind of like edgy refusal to choose some like any other thing like, oh, it's okay, I can take my suffering because I'm like going through it in the real world. Some dumb crap like that. I don't know. I feel like I probably look down on people who choose to like plug in. If this was no, if this were a real situation, I'd just be like, wow, you're look at you running away from your actual problems, even though
I
that's totally valid.
like I think I wouldn't plug in the sense that like I actually do want to like do good things in my life and like not have them be fake. But like in terms of just my happiness kind of thing, I think like once you plug in, like you will forget that you even had the option in the first place, and it will be like a natural transition from your current life to like exactly what you wanted the whole time. So like I feel like it would be good because like you wouldn't feel and you wouldn't know different, you know?
I know we wouldn't know, but like, if there was like some counter at the end of your life, that's like all of the decisions you've made, this one would factor in. I realize that's not how this works, but that's what I like keep going back to.
Yeah. Teddy, didn't you say you wouldn't plug in?
I don't know. No, I'd be thinking. I don't know. It just seems like I'd just be useless if I plugged in, and like I want to feel like I'm actually doing something.
But you would feel like you're doing things in the simulation.
But
And
I want to like actually do things.
but you don't know if you're actually doing things or not.
But I know now if I would be actually doing things. I don't know. It's weird.
What if you could just like restart your life and like be born like in the simulation from the very beginning? Does that change anything?
That sounds
Like
like a lot of work.
experience what real life is. Then it's like the same as if you didn't exist in the first place, right? So except you get to live a perfect life. That's
Would you like live your life in the experience machine and then die in the experience machine and then you die in real life?
and then it's all over. So you pretty much just lived a normal human life, except for the fact that you didn't interact with any actual people.
Like, can it like prolong your life? Like, if you don't want to die, will you just like not die?
Yeah, because it'll just go with whatever you want. So like if at some point you are ready for death, then I assume that it would just cut off.
Hmm, maybe that sounds
So
pretty nice.
it matters whether or not like you lived your current life. Why?
It's like more life for your life.
No. Like, why does your answer change depending on whether or not you were born in the simulation or not?
Oh, 'cause I don't want to go back to being a kid.
No, you're not going to be a kid when
Wait,
you
what?
go into the simulation. Like, if you go into the simulation now, it's like you wake up tomorrow morning and it's the life you were expecting to live, whether or not you had the choice ever. And then it just gradually progresses into like exactly what you want. And then you just keep living your life and it's awesome.
Wait, so do I have like all my old memories from my real life?
Yeah. It's like as if you never left. Except now everything's perfect. But you don't even know that it's perfect because that's just going to be your life now.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't have a definite answer.
Okay. I feel like if I actually were given the choice, then I wouldn't, just because I'm like too scared. But like, I think if I were to be able to like just be born in the simulation in the first place, then like, I think that would be fine. Maybe. Because like, I'm okay with me not having existed in the first place. So like, if I get to just live some like trial run life, then that's fine. Uh, Jefferson, would you plug in?
Jefferson. He gone.
Okay. So to tie this in with like the other stuff we were talking about, like um if you agree with like desire fulfillment and whatever, then like if you agree with the idea that like the only thing that matters is your desires getting fulfilled, then you would plug in because clearly all your desires are getting fulfilled in this life and therefore it's good. And same goes for hedonism. But if you think that somehow there are other things to be considered, then no. I also have another question. I remember my philosophy professor asked us the class this question and I thought it was a good one. So, um let's say you don't know this, but your entire life you've been recorded like everywhere you go and there are people just like watching the recording of you like at all times, like every second of every day. Would that make your life better or worse? But you like never found out that you were being recorded. Like everything you did was being watched by like a group of people for some reason. I don't know why they're watching.
Worse, right? Why would that make anyone's life better?
Well, you can think that it doesn't affect your life, right? Because in desire fulfillment and like all hedonism and whatever, like those theories would suggest that like there's no difference between whether you're being recorded or not. But then everyone feels gross when they hear that they're being recorded.
But there aren't any consequences to being recorded, right? Like no one ever finds out that anyone was being recorded other than the people who are doing the recording.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Like no one's gonna like show people in your life the recordings of you, but like
I don't think it matters then, like at all. Like I don't mind even if they like laugh at me or something. I'm not gonna know. So
yeah. I think as
yeah.
long as I don't find out about anything, I'm fine. But then also let's say that like all your friends and family members secretly like hate you, but they're just like acting like they like you the whole time. Like, do you think that has anything to do? Like, do you still think that it wouldn't matter in that case then?
Wait, how does the recordings factor into your family members hating you?
Oh wait, no, this is like a separate thing. So
Oh,
like
okay.
so I think we all agree, do we all agree that like being recorded wouldn't really change anything? But like let's say that your friends and family hate you. Does that change anything?
I would say yeah, because I want the relationships in my life to be real. That's part of the human experience.
Okay. But why is that different from being recorded? Like you don't ever find out that they hate you.
I do. He's gone.
Because I don't, that means that you wouldn't have gotten to experience what real, like, there's a deeper form of human connection that you haven't gotten yet. And I understand that, like, you never find that out, but I think it would upset me. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I know what you're saying. I think that's a lot of people's gut reactions to it, and I definitely understand. It's like, but I don't really see how that's different from being recorded or not, because then you can also claim that by being recorded, you like never got to experience like true privacy or anything. So I think with that argument, you could claim that either would like contribute to you having a worse off life.
Yeah, I don't think it matters to me, like with relationships and people like lying to me or something. There's, I mean, right now there is no way to know that if people are lying to you about how they feel about you. So like
Right.
ultimately nothing changes like in any of these scenarios. So maybe I would plug in. I don't know.
Yeah, what is this, what is all this contradiction, Tia?
I don't know. Final answer, I think I would plug in. It would be better if I got to plug in as like an 80-year-old and got to like be born again and relive a life. Or maybe I could just like program this simulated life to have a cure for death and just
Yeah.
an immortality serum. And yeah, I'd be immortal in the experience machine. I don't really care.
You would go for immortality too?
Yeah.
I think I used to think that, and then as I get older, I'm like, I'd rather just die eventually.
I just watched the season finale of The Good Place. Touches on that. Very
Oh.
good.
Everyone's always mentioning that show. I've got
10 out of 10 would recommend watching it. It's exactly what we're talking about right now.
that'll be my break project.
Dude, my break project right now is Love Island season 2 again with my
yeah.
sisters.
Oh my god, Teddy and I are about to watch the finale.
We're on the last episode. It's so good.
Don't spoil it, but like, dude, it's so crazy. Like rewatching it, everyone says about like their preferences is just like completely contradictory. Scott was like, I don't want to be with a girl who's like controlling.
Yep.
It's so good.
God, Scott is my favorite. Let's not make this meeting about Love Island.
No, wait. Netflix party for Love Island next week.
Wait, okay, yeah. What do you guys want to watch?
The Hulu party.
Okay, yeah, we can Hulu party. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Wait, what do you guys want to watch though?
Mm,
Should we watch a Christmas movie or no?
Iron Man
Yes.
3.
I thought you said we have to watch Iron Man 2 first.
We can watch that before Thursday.
I haven't seen Iron Man 3, to be honest, so I would not mind that.
Tia, what are your thoughts? I think
Yeah, I'm cool. I'm cool with Iron Man 3.
We don't have to.
thinking we could
No,
watch.
we have to.
Is that too dark for a Christmas?
Wait, I haven't seen the first Iron Man. I can just look up a YouTube thing. Why would it be
You have to
dark?
watch the first Iron Man. It's so good. Wow.
I was thinking we could watch the Black Mirror episode titled White Christmas. But it might be a little dark.
Yeah, I don't know if we can take much more.
I don't know if it's
Considering
very...
y'all aren't done with exams.
I can always watch something depressing. Okay, I guess we can watch Iron Man. Wait, is it like...
It's pretty long though.
How long is it?
Probably like 2 hours and 15 minutes.
That's fine.
2 hours. Yeah, I don't know if it's on Hulu or Netflix or anything though.
Oh wait, yeah, you're right.
It's not. It's Marvel, right? So it should be on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
Okay, but I don't have Disney Plus.
Yeah, I don't either.
Spider-Man Homecoming's on Hulu.
Wait, do you have to have Hulu to do a Hulu party? Okay, I do not have Hulu.
Ugh. Ugh. Wait, you should still watch Love Island though. I'm telling you. So good.
I know we already finished talking about our quarantine project or our break projects, but I'm working on Jurassic Park series since they just put it on Netflix.
That's cool.
Jurassic Park 2 sucked. I did not like it.
I haven't seen it.
Don't watch it.
Okay. My other break project is actually making my LinkedIn a thing. It's completely blank.
I saw you add me as a connection, and I was like,
I have connections. Ted, you and Ayush.
I feel like for pre-meds it's kind of unnecessary.
I think it's unnecessary too, but like it's kind of fun, you know?
I think it's unnecessary for everyone.
That's true. I'm gonna add all of you guys on LinkedIn as soon as I figure out.
Please be my fourth connection.
Y'all will be my second.
Damn, I'd be so bad at business.
I
Okay, wait, let's do announcements first. Okay, so next week, as you guys know, is our last meeting of the semester, which is so crazy. We've come such a long way since our first meeting. I remember we talked about the trolley problem and we had so much fun. Okay, so we have like no responses on the discussion topic survey. So whoever hasn't filled it out, you gotta fill it out. I'm gonna put the link if I remember. Okay, so fill that out. And we might change the meeting time depending on how everyone's schedules line up. I think Megan said she could come next week, but we'll see. And also, in case anyone here does not know, we're doing the Out of the Darkness Walk for Suicide Prevention in support of the American Foundation of Suicide Prevention, and you can join our team if you're a U of M student. And I think you can also join our team if you're not a student. So if you want to do that, that would be cool. Help us raise money. We're like more than half of the way there, so that would be awesome. And that's it. So